Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the May 14th regular scheduled board meeting. The first item on the work session agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance by Charles Kelly and Aronimink Elementary School students.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The second item on the work session agenda is a PBIS recognition presentation by Dr. McCarthy Frick, Principal of Charles Kelly Elementary School.
Well, good evening, President Mitchell, members of the school board, Acting Superintendent Dr. McGarry, and the administrative team, and members of the community. I am Dr. McCarthy, the principal of Charles Kelly Elementary School, and let me just introduce to you a few members that I have up here with me this evening. I have Janae Jones, who is one of our 5th grade students and also a member of Student Council. We have Mrs. Kristen Meehan, who is our lead teacher. We have Miss Amy Corona, who is one of our noontime assistants. And we have Miss Jackie Murphy, who is one of our 1st grade teachers. So if you were here last year, then you remember we presented our 1st and 5th grade buddy program. And although we still have our 1st and 5th grade buddy program continuing at Charles Kelly this year, tonight, what we wanted to do was give you a little bit of a highlight as to all of the events and activities that we have done throughout the course of the school year at Charles Kelly, but there's a very special reason why we want to highlight these events this evening. So today, up in Hershey, our school was presented with a banner because we have received recognition as a PBIS school. So in order to receive PBIS recognition, there's a great deal of work and time and energy that has to be put into this. At the end of last school year, our staff completed a survey. At the beginning of this school year, we worked very diligently with the DCIU, and we had school visits with Chester County Intermediate Unit. 2 individuals came, and they did interviews with our students, our staff, and myself, and they took a look at our PBIS team. They took a look at our PBIS notes, and they also took a look at all of the different activities, events that you're going to see throughout the course of the video. And all of those things led to us having a 98% score on everything. So yes, we are very proud of that. So with that, we are considered an official PBIS school. So once I do get the banner, I couldn't go up there today because I wanted to be here this evening to share this with all of you. But once we do receive our PBIS banner, we will display it proudly in our school. We will take pictures of it, and we will post that on social media for all to see the banner that we have. So all of the events that you're going to see throughout the course of the video are all of the activities and events that allowed us to receive recognition for a PBIS. And you're going to see that our students and our staff are highlighted in leadership roles, because I believe as a principal that's very important to highlight the people that you're working with on a daily basis and give them opportunities to become leaders each and every single day. So we hope you enjoy our video.
Here at Charles Kelly, we have many events that correlate with the values of our PBIS program.
Hi, my name is Zoe, and I will be talking about something we celebrate at Charles Kelly called College Sweatshirt Day. College Sweatshirt Day is when teachers and students wear college sweatshirts every last Friday of the month. We wear college sweatshirts because the teachers want us to start thinking about what we want to learn in college and what college we want to go to.
Hi, my name is Janae, and I'll be talking about Spirit Day. Spirit Day is a day where the whole school can participate and wear our school colors, green and white. The teachers make it really fun with the way they dress. Mrs. Meehan and Dr. McCarthy dress up, and all the kids laugh when they see them. The relationship the students build over this one event is huge, and it boosts our energy for school spirit.
Hi, I'm Emanuelo, and I will be talking about 1st and 5th grade buddies and how it's a memorable experience. The 1st and 5th graders get to create memories through diverse activities, and also both grades look forward to see each other each month. It gives us opportunities to help one another, and they get to experience different places.
Here at Charles Kelly Elementary School, we have Career Day. Career Day is when people with different careers visit our school. They visit different classrooms to talk about their jobs. They talk about why they chose the job and what they do. Children are allowed to ask the visitors questions about their job. 5th grade's Career Day was exciting and fun since they had police officers, an artist, a SEPTA bus driver. Another visitor was a professor and specialized in kinesiology. And the people with different careers set up examples for the students as they grow older and start to think about decisions and choices.
Every year, in preparation for the PSSA testing, we hold our annual PSSA Pep Rally. This year, the Charles Kelly students were introduced to the synchronized swimming team that they did not know Charles Kelly had. They also had tons of neon lights all around and saw teachers perform dancing and the shark song, of course. It was a ton of fun.
I will be telling you about something we do in class called learning targets. When we do learning targets, we talk about a couple of words in a math or reading sentence that the teachers and students talk about if they don't know what some of the words are in the sentence. I think that we should continue to do learning targets because it does help some of the kids learn new words. I think a lot of other elementary schools should do learning targets just like we do here at Charles Kelly.
Next, I'll be talking to you about Dr. Seuss Day. Dr. Seuss Day is a day where people from our community come to read to different classes. Dr. Seuss Day builds memories and relationships with students because we are able to talk about our experience and how fun it is.
The Student of the Month Assembly is a well-known event in our school. The assembly starts with Dr. McCarthy announcing the awards, and we give them to classes who follow the 3 Bs. After Dr. McCarthy announces the awards, we then start off with certificates. After giving out certificates, we have fun and exciting activities such as spinning the wheel. After these activities, we do a drawing from the Scholar Dollar bin. They pick 2 Scholar Dollars, and whoever name that is, they come up to play a game that Mrs. Meehan comes up with. The event can be memorable for it being fun and exciting.
All of these events have led to Charles Kelly earning statewide recognition for our PBIS program. We look forward to continuing traditions old and new so we can keep making Charles Kelly the hidden gem of Upper Darby.
And we just wanted to take this time to thank Dr. Taylor for all of her support and all of her smiles when she comes over to all of our events. I have to say, every time we have an event, Mrs. Me, and if you ever come to our school, and you're more than welcome to, she's got a ton of costumes to put on. And I always say, I'm not putting a costume on. And every time, somehow, I get a costume on. And Dr. Taylor is a great sport because she puts the costumes on, and she walks around with the kids, and they have a great time. So Dr. Taylor, on behalf of the staff and the students at Charles Kelly, we want to say thank you, and we appreciate all of your support.
Thank you so much, team. You're doing a great job. I do have to say, though, I think I was talking to Dr. Taylor when she was on her way over the last time, and she said, I really hope they don't have a costume for me. And according to the video, I think she got away with not wearing one. The third item on the work session agenda tonight is a Royal Writers Program presentation by Mr. Josh Rehak, the principal of Aronimink Elementary School.
Well, good evening. That was an absolute, this is going to be a very difficult act to follow, but good evening, Madam President, Board of School Directors, Dr. McGarry, fellow administrators, parents, community members, and most importantly, our students. My name is Josh Rehak, and I have the privilege of being the principal of Aronimink Elementary School. I'm here tonight to share a wonderful program that is actually the brainchild of Mrs. Jean Fury, our reading specialist, who I have to make a plug is also an Aronimink graduate. Prior to my arrival at Aronimink last year, Mrs. Fury created the Royal Reader Program in an effort to expose students to different types of genres. While planning for this year, Mrs. Fury approached me with the idea of tweaking the popular program to encourage and expose students to different forms of writing, thus creating our Royal Writer Challenge. The Royal Writer Challenge is presented to our students at our monthly Student of the Month Assembly and sent through our electronic Wednesday folder. Each month brings a new challenge, and the requirements vary based on the grade level. Whether the challenge is writing a friendly letter, creating an informational piece about their interests, creating a poem, or writing a how-to essay, each month brings a special challenge that is fun and engaging for all. At the end of each month, all students who were up for the challenge are acknowledged, receive a certificate, and a W-shaped pretzel while receiving praise for their efforts from their fellow classmates. My favorite, and this year's fan favorite, was a throwback to an old Aronimink tradition created by Mrs. Catherine Doyeski, a former Aronimink librarian who passed away earlier this school year, and whom the Aronimink Library will soon be dedicated. In this challenge, students were asked to send a gift in the form of words to someone they cared about at school. After reading in library class the book Silver Packages by Cynthia Raylant, the students' heartfelt messages were wrapped in little silver packages, mailed in our school box, and delivered to each teacher prior to spring break. I can speak firsthand to the wonderful messages that were an amazing parting gift before a long winter break holiday. It's one thing to hear about this challenge, but in a second, I want you guys to all see for yourself. But before we get started, I do want to acknowledge 3 very special Aronimink students who are our loyal royals, or our loyal royal writers. And our loyal royal writers are students who have participated in all of the royal writing challenges so far this year. However, they have not fulfilled their May obligation yet, so I don't want to speak too soon, but I know these guys are up for the challenge. So if we could give them a round of applause for their hard work and effort. And in 3rd grade, we have Miss Elizabeth Kelly. In 4th grade, Miss Haley Moore, and her brother, Mr. Buddy Moore, in 2nd grade. So thank you guys.
So much of our curriculum is structured these days, and a lot of times children don't get to write creatively or read the books that they want to read. So we've always done a literacy challenge during the year, some kind of challenge to get the kids, to do a little extra work. That's how it started, as the Royal Reader Challenge.
You just have to read 10 books.
You had to read different types of books, like when it was Dr. Seuss's birthday, we had to read Dr. Seuss's books.
And then they thought, instead of reading, maybe we should get them to write something to practice on the writing.
Writing is a huge need, and I thought anything that we could do to help them be better writers would be beneficial for us and for them.
I did all the reading last year. I just took the challenge to do writing.
I chose to get involved with it because I could use my own imagination for something finally.
You just have to create something and then write it down and then share with other people. You sometimes write recipes, poems, stories, and different kinds of things.
Every month we send a letter in our Wednesday folder. This is an example of our March Royal Writer. And we try to tie it into something that's going on in the school sometimes, like for Dr. Seuss Day, they had to write poetry in February. And we sometimes tied them into county-wide contests, like our January one was the story, and then we use those as our young author story.
You just had to write a story, any kind of story you wanted. And I think mine was good.
March was our Heritage Month, so 4th and 5th graders had to write an essay, and we were hoping that would help them write essays on the PSSA when they got to that.
Usually I don't know how to write paragraphs, and most of these are paragraphs like this. You have to write 5 or 3 paragraphs, and it helped me write more
First, 2nd, and 3rd graders had to write a recipe from their heritage, and we have collected all these great recipes from these different cultures, which is great for us. We are naming our library after Kate Doyeski.
It was an old librarian here before, and she always used to make silver letters.
She would have the kids write postcards to the staff.
You have to write a letter about the staff, to the staff, and how good they are, and thank them and stuff.
And they look like this. So every teacher and staff member got at least one silver package in our mailboxes, and some of them were really moving. There was a lot of tears.
Taking challenges are sometimes hard and not easy, and writing's not bad after all.
Every month we have the Student of the Month Assembly, and we call the Royal Writers. We'll call their names. They come up on the stage, and they think it's cool to walk up on the stage. They'll get some kind of pencil or some kind of writing device, their certificate, and they'll get the pretzel.
It's a free pretzel that's shaped like a W. Last year they had it shaped like an R for reading.
I like that it sort of rewards effort instead of achievement, because sometimes you have these kids that work really, really, really hard and they don't always get recognized. So it's a way for them to get recognized for their effort, not just their achievement. It's very hard to write. There's a lot of components of writing. I once heard it said it's the largest orchestra your mind has to conduct. You have to capitalize, you have to punctuate, spelling has to be good, you have to make a paragraph. So it's making them aware of of putting all of those things into their writing.
They're like getting you ready to like what challenges could be in like middle school or high school.
And I think we will try to alternate the reading, the writing, the math as we go along, just to build up those really foundational skills that are so important to the student's success.
So I do want to take this opportunity to publicly thank two people. One, Mrs. Jean Fury, our reading specialist, who just continues to go above and beyond, not only for Aronimink, as a collective group, but for each and every individual student. And also Mr. Jason Taylor, who is an absolute rock star at what he does. So putting that video together. And I look forward to continuing to be able to share where this royal writer and royal reader and who knows what next is going to happen. So thank you guys for allowing us the time to share. Great night.
Nice job. It's nice to see components of learning look like they're fun. So thank you. The final item on the work session agenda is the presentation of the National English Honor Society Service Award for the 2018-2019 school year. Mrs. Gentile.
Good evening. I have a really unique role in this township in that I am involved in the schools as well as in the libraries. So this award is a coordination between the school, the National Honor Society, English Honor Society, and our library system. But before I begin giving the awards, I would like to make a special introduction. I would like you all to meet the new director of the Upper Darby Library System, Mrs. Aronimink. She arrived yesterday from Dallas, Texas. So she hasn't been in our community very long. We are fortunate to have her, and we welcome her to our community. And things are a little cooler here than she's used to.
It was sunny and 85 today in Dallas.
I'm announcing that the Royal Oak chapter of the Upper Darby High School has been awarded the National English Honor Society Service Award for 2019. The English Honor Society worked in conjunction with the municipal branch of our public library system to enhance the library experience for the young people of our community. At this time, I would like to introduce you to Kelsey Bierling, advisor of the English Honor Society here at the high school, and Jean Kosha, Program Director at Municipal. They will outline for you how they work together to provide this amazing experience for our community.
I don't have a fancy video, so I apologize. We just found out last week that we won this National Service Award, and both Jean and I were very surprised because we're one high school we have 120 kids in the National English Honor Society chapter here at the high school. And I didn't think we work in our community, we just give back, it's what we do. I had no idea that National would come back and say, you're the best this year. So it was very, very exciting and moving for us. Last summer, Ms. Kosha reached out to us and said, hey, I know you have some kids up there. We have just a few. We need some help at the library. And National English Honor Society was ready and willing to step up. So for 2 months in the fall, and again for 2 months in the spring, our students traveled to the municipal branch and spent 2 hours?
About an hour each day.
About an hour every Wednesday. And they read to the kids. They did a craft that was appropriate for the season, helped the little guys and girls pick out a library book to take home, and they came back renewed and excited. Sometimes high school is hard, and you feel like there's a lot of things coming at you all the time, and there's so much work, and there's so much pressure to succeed, and why? And they'd come back and they'd be like, they were excited because we read this book and they knew some words this week. And they just were renewed in their own education by watching these little guys burgeoning in theirs. So it was a glorious experience all around for us.
There's not a lot I can add to that, but it was really wonderful to see the teens working with the kids. There were some kids who were non-readers, others who were brothers and sisters who were actually older. Our target audience was kindergarten, first and second, but we had a couple third and fourth graders who came because their siblings were there and they wanted to read too. So it grew that way. To see the kids working together was really, really beautiful. And what happened as the year went on is that more and more kids started coming to it. And so at one point, like, the room was just filled, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna have to spill over into the main library. So that was really cool. We were really happy to get the word out there. The children themselves would, one example of a great thing was when they were writing in code, using code, one of the kids wrote, "I love you," and "you're the best," that kind of thing. And so they wrote code messages back and forth, and to see the teens' expressions were, it was amazing. It was really cool. So it was really exciting. But beyond that, one of the things that most impressed me with what the teens had done is that kids who generally hang out in the library and just spend time there on the computers or, sometimes reading or doing activities, started to come up to me and say, "Can I volunteer? Can I be a part of this?" And so there were more than 10 kids who came up to me and also joined in on the service opportunity. And that has helped to grow our summer program with volunteers. And so all around, I see great things happening. And I see the teens of Upper Darby really having an impact in our community. It's really, I'm proud to be a part of that.
Can I just add that the Ms. Koch is also a former Biowood parent, students at Beverly Hills and at Upper Darby High School. Phenomenal kids, and I thank you for all that you've done for all the years. You were my first experience as a home and school person, as a principal, and I think you're an amazing person, so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Do you mind if I ask? No, and I just want to add, I was thrilled to death when I heard about this program and I came in and the award and the service. And this really kind of segues into what I want to do in the next 2 to 3 years as the director of the libraries, because it's become very apparent to me as I've worked in different libraries around the country that public libraries can truly help sustain and grow a community, help a community be successful, help the members of the community be successful. And I'm already interested in looking for partnerships and collaboration opportunities for us to work with the school district, to us to work with some of the community groups, because I think probably everyone in this room has the same goal in mind, which is the success of the township and the success of the people in it. So I'm really excited to take what the library's been doing and the programs they've been having and try to kick that up a notch. So as I get my sea legs, give me a couple of weeks, I'm really interested in talking to anybody in the community or any of the groups, people within the school district, and see how we can find some more ways to collaborate, particularly with projects with the young people, and get them, what this reminded me of is getting these teens invested in their community as young adults, not just as children who were raised here, but people who already are invested in the community and want to give back. So I'm really looking to build on that. So I am thrilled that this is going on. I'm hoping I can continue to support programs like this. And I'm so glad you said that, because the minute I met Jean at my interview, I'm like, I'm so glad she's going to be on this. She's on this staff, and I'm hoping to work with her. So thank you all very much.
I don't know whether we have members of the Honor Society. I know we have 2 members in front of us. So if any members of the Honor Society who are here, if you'll stand, or any library employees or the library board. Karen, come on up. Yeah, we have some representatives here. This is such a great award. There is a monetary, there's a check that goes to the library and to the school district. There is a $100 check that goes to the school district and a $500 check that goes to the library. Yeah, that's wonderful. There is also a certificate, which I would like to give to the president of the Honor Society. Notice our our school board representatives are also on this, the English Honor Society, and they have a certificate. And I can't tell you how thrilled I am. This isn't not a county, this is not state, this is national. And it just goes to show what our students can do. And I am thrilled beyond anything I can tell you to be a part of both organizations. And thank you so much, all of you.
We can accomplish all that, our future will be extremely bright. So I know that the school district would be more than willing to work with the library to increase our partnerships and get our students involved earlier. So thank you. The regular meeting of the Upper Darby School Board of School Directors will please come to order. There was a closed session on May 9th from 5 p.m. until 6:50 for information regarding the Phase 1 of this, and this evening from 5:30 until 7:25 for matters to be discussed within the limitation for closed deliberations as prescribed by Pennsylvania Act 93 of 1998. For this evening's meeting, they were personnel and litigation matters. Roll call, please. Mr. Grant.
Ms. Gentile. Here. Mr. Desnoyers. Here. Ms. Jordan. Here. Dr. Rucci. Here. Dr. Taylor. Here. Mr. Fields. Ms. Curry. Here. Mr. Brown. Here. Ms. Mitchell.
Here. Thank you. Dr. Rucci, the approval of the minutes.
Thank you, Madam President. The minutes of the combined work session regular meeting of April 9th, 2019, and special meeting of April 23rd, 2019, and May 6th, 2019 are in the hands of each board member and have been made available to the public. I move for their adoption.
Second.
Are there any comments from the board? Any comments from the public? Seeing none, poll vote, please, Mr.
Ms. Gentile.
Aye.
Mr. Desnoyers.
Aye.
Ms. Jordan.
Aye.
Dr. Rucci. Aye. Dr. Taylor.
Aye.
Ms. Curry. Aye. Mr. Brown. Aye. Ms. Mitchell.
Aye, motion carries. The approval of the report of the secretary, Mr.
Thank you, Madam President. The report of the Secretary is in the hands of each board member and has been made available to the public. I move for its adoption.
Any comments from the board? Any comments from the public? Seeing none, poll vote.
Ms. Gentile.
Aye.
Mr. Desnoyers.
Aye.
Ms. Jordan.
Aye.
Dr. Rucci.
Aye.
Dr. Taylor.
Aye.
Ms. Curry.
Aye.
Mr. Brown. Aye. Ms. Mitchell.
Aye, motion carries. Report of the treasurer, Dr. Rucci.
Thank you, Madam President. The report of the Treasurer is in the hands of each board member and has been made available to the public. I move for its adoption.
Any comments from the board? Comments from the public? Seeing none, poll vote.
Ms. Gentile.
Aye.
Mr. Desnoyers.
Aye.
Ms. Jordan.
Aye.
Dr. Rucci.
Aye.
Dr. Taylor.
Aye.
Ms. Curry.
Aye.
Mr. Brown. Aye. Ms. Mitchell.
Aye, motion carries. Next up, we have the report of our student representatives.
The buildings of report this month are Upper Darby High School, Drexel Hill Middle School, Garrettford Elementary School, and Highland Park Elementary School. Over the past month, our district has been incredibly busy doing wonderful things. The high school's Financial Resource Center was awarded Financial Resource Center of the Year by Franklin Mint Federal Credit Union at their Partners in Education celebration. Garrettford hosted their Kindness Week, which was also a great success. The students also here from the high school in the AP Computer Science classes competed at several competitions over the past few weeks, while our senior English skills students conducted mock job interviews and aced them all. In the elementary schools, Highland Park just wrapped up their annual play, this year showcasing Aladdin Jr., and almost all of the district schools have put on their annual spring concerts. All that's remaining is the high school's vocal concert this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. While this year may be coming to a close, the staff and students here in the Upper Darby School District sure aren't slowing down. And I'd like to really highlight the Instagram and a lot of the social media. We've been very active on those, and when you want to see other of those highlights and all the wonderful things that we're doing, the Instagram is like kind of one of the most kept up ones. That's UDS official. So I just wanted to promo that.
Good evening, everyone. I am giving the DHMS highlight. So this past week, Drexel Hill Middle School hosted their annual Challengers Assembly, for which I had the pleasure to be the guest speaker. About 50 students are chosen every year to be challengers from Drexel Hill Middle School, and selection is made based on extracurricular activity involvement, grades throughout middle school, and character, which is judged by teacher recommendations. To reward them for their hard work throughout all of middle school, students get to go on a 3-day field trip to Colonial Williamsburg at the end of May. All of the students were very excited, and it was especially wonderful, I have to say, to see some of the former PFE students that I had last semester being honored. It was so exciting and endearing to see them there, and it was amazing. So, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for your involvement and for reporting the things that are going on. I'm glad you're enjoying Instagram. I see there's a lot of student comments on the posts. The next up is the budgeted personnel and enrollment reports have been made available to the board and the public and are recorded as part of the record. No vote is required. And now we'll have the report of the superintendent, Dr. McGarry.
Good evening, President Mitchell, members of the Board of School Directors, community members, students, and members of the administration. I would like to thank Charles Kelly Elementary School and Aronimink Elementary School, our Upper Darby High School National English Honor Society, and our wonderful students and staff for their presentations tonight. Each month, we celebrate the accomplishments of our students. The months of May and June are very, very busy in a public school district. And I'm happy to share with you just how talented our students are and have been. Congratulations to the Upper Darby High School sophomore engineering team, who placed 4th in the state in the multiple choice component of the TEAMS competition at Widener University. TEAMS stands for Test of Engineering Aptitude, Math, and Science, and is a series of challenging mathematical word problems based on different engineering scenarios that were presented to the students. Congratulations to Drexel Hill Middle School's Technology Student Association, known as TSA, on competing in their first state competition. The TSA team competed against 1,700 other students from around Pennsylvania in categories such as problem solving, mass productions, and inventions and innovations. The structural engineering team placed in the top 12 for the state, while the team as a whole received 9th place in mass production and 8th place in STEM animation. Congratulations to the DHMS Jazz Band, who completed their competitive season a few weeks ago with their fifth straight Superior Award rating, this time at Springton Lake Jazz Festival. Beverly Hills Middle School 8th grader Mamda Asif, who received first place in the Delaware County Bar Association 2019 Law Day Essay Contest. The theme was free speech, free press, free society. Mamda was invited to read her essay aloud at the ceremony before the Court of Common Pleas, judges, and community. Dr. Manfrey and I were able to attend this celebration, and it was great to hear Mamda provide her thoughts to a crowded room of legal minds. Congratulations to the Upper Darby High School students who recently participated in the Chester County Historical Society's National History Day competition. Students from 9th through 12th grade from both Delaware and Chester counties presented projects tied to the theme of triumph and tragedy. Sakia Rahman took home 3rd place for her project on the Bangladesh genocide. Congratulations to Upper Darby High School senior and school board student representative Sarah Ibrahim, who, by the way, both of you, I tell you all the time, present so well. At the Drexel Brook the other night, you were amazing as well, Sarah. On being named as the Franklin Mint Federal Credit Union 2019 Outstanding Student Leader. In addition, Upper Darby High School, who I think ran the whole event, as a whole has been selected as the Franklin Mint Federal Credit Union's Financial Resource Center of the Year. Sarah, along with Upper Darby High School, was honored at the Franklin Mint Federal Credit Union meeting celebration on Thursday, May 2nd. Sarah, congratulations. And Sarah opened up the ceremonies and gave a little bit of a speech. Awesome job. Congratulations to Drexel Hill Middle School's 8th grade French students who participated in the Le Grand Concours National French Contest that was organized by the American Association of French Teachers. Silver medal winners were Ariel Howell, Faiza Ansari, Charlotte Wismer, and Mabel Avila. Bronze winners were Ramin Buzid and Ryan Clarici. Congratulations to Upper Darby senior John Ribnick. John just keeps on racking up awards, man, on being selected as one of the highest-ranking high Q players in Delaware County. Congratulations to Upper Darby High School senior Juan Barros on winning the Chamber of Commerce Award at the Delaware County Technical High School Senior Awards Night. Several Upper Darby High School students traveled to Lockheed Martin this past week to compete in their Code Quest computer science competition. Vince Tron and Xu Ji Zhen's team finished in 3rd place. All of the competitors who will also have a chance to apply for an internship with Lockheed Martin this summer. Such an outstanding opportunity and accomplishment for these young, talented minds. Congratulations to Drexel Hill Middle School Elijah Neal on being awarded Rotary Student of the Year for outstanding community service, character, and commitment to Upper Darby community. In addition to this award, the student will receive $1,500 scholarship to offset future college costs. We're not finished. Congratulations to the Upper Darby High School art students. The Upper Darby High School artist's work has been selected for the Scanlon Congressional Arts Competition at the Lansdowne Gallery Utility Works, which covers Delaware County, Montgomery County, and Philadelphia. The following students also received awards. 11th grade student Abdia Lazur, Best of Show winner for his printmaking piece entitled Yesterday. His work will be displayed in Washington, D.C., in the tunnel that connects the congressional offices to the Capitol building. 12th grade student Ellie Quillen, who won 1st place for painting. 9th grade student Yassine Alam won 2nd place for mixed media. At the elementary school level, and I believe Nikayla is here with us tonight, Nikayla Rawlings is a 4th grade student in the Autistic Support Program at Westbrook Park Elementary School in the Upper Darby School District. At the beginning of the 2018-19 school year, a letter went home requesting parental permission to join concert choir. After some discussion between the parents, teacher, and music teacher, Nikayla joined chorus and prepared for her first rehearsal. While at first apprehensive, Nikayla quickly grew comfortable at rehearsal with the support and attention from her grade-level peers. After much practice, from what I'm told, Nikayla made her debut at the winter concert, where she had an outstanding performance experience. Presently, Nikayla has been practicing for the spring concert. She's drawn a great deal of attention from her classmates and music teacher in each rehearsal, as she often dances while singing. From what I am told, the level of joy Nikayla expresses is contagious, as students close to her also begin to smile and dance. Most recently, Nikayla Rawlings, Nikayla, if you and your parents want to come on up, received the Delaware County Intermediate Unit Making a Difference Award for Delaware County. Ms. Mitchell and Mr. Brown, please join me in recognizing Nikayla.
Great job.
And as a final congratulations, considering she was my first grade teacher a long, long time ago, congratulations to Garriford Elementary School second grade teacher Linda Larkin, who was named as one of this year's recipients of the Delaware County Excellence in Teaching Awards. Ms. Larkin has been here in the Upper Darby Schools District for 27 years at Garriford Elementary School. So Ms. Larkin was honored, and we will certainly continue to go and embarrass her in her class. I could tell you that Ms. Larkin is not like an audience, and we had to kind of, I think Alan had to drag her out to the award ceremony that night at the Drexel Brook. Since March, the Upper Darby Central Administration has been busy working on fine-tuning the district's budget. We've also been busy meeting with staffs. Most recently, Bywood Elementary School, Drexel Hill Middle School, Hillcrest Elementary School, Beverly Hills Middle School, Charles Kelly Elementary School, Stonehurst Hills Elementary School, and Highland Park Elementary School. As an administration, we felt the need to go out to every school in this district to make sure what we are communicating is in person. The facts about our current and future goals for the district are set straight. We're also meeting with the Transportation Department and Facilities Department. As I stated during my comments when the board approved my hiring as superintendent of schools, our plan will be to do the following: recruit and retain the best staff, provide a multitude of learning opportunities for the students we serve, promote and celebrate a unified, diverse school community, refocus our attention on our elementary school programming so that our young students develop a meaningful educational foundation, identify student strengths, and develop pathways toward graduation where those strengths can be harnessed and developed, improve our communication internally and externally, improve our learning facilities so that they become points of pride, promote excellence in and out of the classroom, empower our students, as you heard tonight with the library presentation, to take pride in our schools and community in order to promote a positive school climate and culture. Prior to the conclusion of the school year, we will have met with every building, support staff, transportation, and maintenance. These meetings have afforded us the opportunity to dispel current misinformation and, at times, and I mean this, blatant attempts by some to thwart our efforts to improve this school district. We also have held a final district home and school meeting with the presidents on May the 6th. I've afforded and offered to continue to meet with district home and school presidents throughout the summer in order to keep our schools as informed as possible. We have continued to share our Phase 1 facilities plan with district home and schools and with our entire staff. We are prepared to provide an update on the operational costs of the new middle school in Clifton Heights, information on the traffic studies conducted for both Aronimink and Clifton Heights, as well as the potential layouts and the use of classroom space for the new middle school in Clifton Heights, renovation and addition onto Aronimink, the temporary relocation of the K Center to Aronimink, temporary relocation of central administration, and the temporary relocation of Walter M. Sanko to the K Center. We will review this information during the May 28th Finance and Operations Committee meeting. I also wanted to take a moment to share the following facts. The Upper Darby School District has pledged the following. Number one, the board seeks to build a school building and place improved fields at Clifton for the use of public school students while also continuing the community uses of the property. The board has determined that the use of the Clifton field by the district for this purpose is both necessary and appropriate. Number two, the board will sign MOUs with Clifton Heights PAL, Clifton Heights Boys Club, and Clifton Heights Borough to ensure their continued use of the fields. Point three, the board has put in writing their commitment to the community to allow their established traditions of their annual Cow Pie Bingo, 4th of July fireworks, and Community Carnival to continue. The board, number four, has directed the administration through our recreation department to gather all of the current permits for the Clifton field so that all current use will be given priority going forward. Number five, the district has continued to express their desire to meet with the leadership of Clifton Heights and the leadership of their youth organizations to review the new middle school plans and gather their input and feedback. I've heard members of the community ask why we did not meet with leadership of Clifton Heights. As a matter of fact, a meeting did take place in the fall with the leadership of Clifton Heights, and follow-up letters requesting opportunities to meet were sent in October, March, and April. Despite the continued refusal to meet and work together by Clifton Heights leadership, the district has continued to offer these same opportunities moving forward. Six, while some are espousing this is an attempt to take away fields currently used by Clifton Heights youth programs, the district has made the focus of the project the completion and improvement of the fields as a priority over the completion of the school in the timeline. In fact, over 51% of the property will consist of athletic fields. 7, For any issues regarding use of fields or field time while the improvements are made, the district has offered Upper Darby High School's football field as a place for the boys club to hold weekend competitions. If a need were to relocate the football teams of the boys club for practice, we're willing to offer other alternatives to support the programs. The district will work with the Clifton PAL and boys club throughout the process and moving forward. 8, the new middle school will provide the children of Clifton Heights access to a new gymnasium for basketball, cheerleading, indoor batting practice for hitting, wrestling, etc. 9, in Phase 2, the district intends to build a new elementary school in the 69th Street area and continue to improve other district buildings and facilities. And number 10, we have no plan, despite the other information that's out there being put out by the public, or intention of closing Beverly Hills Middle School, as some are incorrectly reporting. As an administration, we will continue to provide updates to the board and the public. Our continued goal is to unify this district so that students who attend our schools are provided meaningful opportunities to reach excellence. We are here to remove barriers and obstacles that impede the growth of our students. And as a really final celebratory note of good news, as Ms. Jordan reminded me, the Upper Darby School District was recently informed that our Safe Schools grant was approved for $2.252 million to provide added safety improvements. And when I say that Bob Holinsky, Ed Marshallak, Lou Gentile, Wendy Elgart, Joe McGilvery, we put in a considerable amount of time writing and rewriting the grant. The original grant was for over $4 million. We were asked to go back and redo it. We rewrote the grant, and we were one of the, if not the top 2 or 3 in the state of Pennsylvania, awarded the top 2 or 3 amount of dollars going toward safety and security. We'll provide an update moving forward as to how we'll implement that money here in the district, as far as cameras, changing the front entryway to Upper Darby High School in both locations, providing much more safety and technology here in the school district. Board President Mitchell and members of the school board, this concludes my report for the evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. McGarry. I did have the opportunity to review all the school district awards, and we were awarded just under $1 million less than the Philadelphia School District. And the only other school district that was awarded money in the millions was the Norristown Area School District. Everyone else was awarded smaller amounts. Unfortunately, probably should not be competitive grants for that type of safety issues. Now we'll have an update on the committee meeting from April 23rd. Mrs. Curry for Education and Pupil Services.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening. The Education and Pupil Services Committee agenda summary is as follows. We had 2 items. The first item was System 44 reading intervention. Board action was required. Ms. Kristen Hoyt and Ms. Christine Kelly presented the success of the System 44 pilot at Upper Darby High School. System 44 is a foundational intervention program used to remediate skills for students in grades 3 through 12. System 44 provides personalized instruction through adaptive technology. The presentation included snapshots of student data collected during the pilot, as well as examples of reports available to the parents. Board action was required to implement the program in the high school during the 2019-2020 school year. Item number 2 was the elementary departmentalization, which was informational. Mr. Salerno and Ms. Kelly provided an informational presentation on elementary departmentalization in grades 4 and 5. The presentation included an overview of the collaborative decision-making process. The process involving teachers and administrators examined the benefits and constraints of departmentalization. Research on departmentalization shows explicit and targeted professional development is key in making instructional shifts. There was some public comment, item number 2. The speaker asked if the teachers need to be content specialists and recommended that caseworkers collaborate more with the teachers in order to better support the students. Another comment on agenda item number 2 was the speaker agreed that the idea of community relationships creates a positive situation. And lastly, on agenda item number 2, the speaker spoke in favor of the departmentalization. Thank you, and this concludes the agenda summary.
Thank you, Mrs. Curry. These agenda summaries and all the action items are available on our website, as well as videos to the meetings if you want to review them in the future. And the next up is the Finance and Operation Committee meeting from April 23rd. Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Madam President. There were 2 agenda items for the Finance and Operations Committee meeting. The first agenda item was informational. It was regarding the 2019-2020 proposed final budget. In complying with the Act 1 timeline, Mr. Craig Rogers presented the 2019-2020 proposed final general fund budget. A detailed category and account review was provided to provide explanation of the $204,233,669 budgeted revenues and the $213,096,828 of the budgeted expenditures. Expenditures exceeded revenues by $8.8 million. Administration recommended a 3% tax increase, generating little over $3 million of new revenue and $5.6 million of funds to be committed to balance the budget. This proposed final budget will be brought forward to the May 14th meeting, which is tonight, for adoption as required under Act 1. A final budget presentation will be presented on June 18th that will take into consideration any legislative changes and changes related to administration, re-review, and pending contracts to be awarded between now and June. So it can certainly take place. It can certainly take on a different look than what we're going to agree on tonight, what we're going to vote on tonight. Agenda item 2 was also informational. It was a facilities update. Dr. McGarry, our superintendent, provided the school board of directors and community an update on the district's facility study and construction proposal. He provided a brief history of the district's facility study, which began over 4 years ago. He provided a link where you can get detailed information on the district's website about that. He reviewed the town hall meeting held during March and April to review Phase 1 of the multi-year, multi-step facilities improvement plan, the community input through personal and live streaming attendance. We also discussed topics and concerns addressed during various home and school association and community meetings that have been held throughout the district. We shared preliminary drafts and videos of proposed construction for the new middle school in fields in Clifton and Aronimink Elementary School, and announced that at the May committee meeting, administration will bring forward plans for the Phase 1 and financing and details to the operational costs for the new facility. There were 5 public comments. One public comment was for agenda item 1, and the other 4 were for agenda item number 2. You can read the specifics out on board docs. Everything here is available. Thank you. That concludes my summary.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. The instruction and curriculum report, please, Mrs. Curry.
Thank you, Madam President. The instruction and curriculum report is in the hands of each board member and has been made available to the public. I move for its adoption.
Thank you. Are there any comments from board members? Any comments from the public? Seeing none, poll vote, please. Mr. Grant.
Ms. Gentile?
Aye.
Mr. Desnoyers?
Aye.
Ms. Jordan?
Aye.
Dr. Rucci?
Aye.
Dr. Taylor?
Aye.
Ms. Curry?
Aye.
Mr. Brown? Aye. Ms. Mitchell?
Aye. Motion carries. Personnel report, Dr. Taylor.
Personnel report is in the hands of each board member and has been made available to the public. I move for its adoption.
Any comments from the board?
Yes, I have a comment. As this personnel report goes out, I just want to acknowledge, of course, every time that people are hired in the district and there's been a change in administrative staff, and particularly this voting meeting, I just want to acknowledge Dr. Council as the Assistant Superintendent and for moving up to Assistant Superintendent for Personnel and Equity. He's already been doing that job with great zeal and zest for the equity in our school district community, and also following up on the comprehensive plan for equity. So I just wanted to congratulate you on that. And I know that you'll continue to work hard as we move forward to continue to create that in this district. Thank you very much.
Any other comments from board members? Any comments from the public on the personnel report? Seeing none, poll vote, please. Mr. Grant.
Ms. Gentile? Aye. Mr. Desnoyers?
Aye.
Ms. Jordan?
Aye.
Dr. Rucci? Aye. Dr. Taylor?
Aye.
Ms. Curry? Aye. Mr. Brown? Aye. Ms. Mitchell?
Aye, motion carries. The next up is the policy report. It's in its first reading. I know no vote is required. Mr. Desnoyers, do you have any comments?
I will just say that the 7 policies up for first reading are Policy 222, Tobacco Nicotine, Policy 247, Hazing, Policy 249, Bullying and Cyberbullying, Policy 323, Tobacco and Nicotine, Policy 610, Purchases Subject to Bid or Quotation, Policy 611, Purchases Budgeted, and Policy 904, Public Attendance at School Events. The policies with the changes are posted to board docs.
Thank you. I know we'll be reviewing those at the May committee meeting as well. Next up, the food services report. Dr. Taylor?
The food services report is in the hands of each board member and has been made available to the public. I move for its adoption.
Any comments from the board? Any comments from the public? Seeing none, poll vote, please. Mr. Grant.
Ms. Gentile? Aye. Mr. Desnoyers?
Aye.
Ms. Jordan?
Aye.
Dr. Rucci? Aye. Dr. Taylor? Aye. Ms. Curry?
Aye.
Mr. Brown? Aye. Ms. Mitchell?
Aye, motion carries. The transportation report. Dr. Rucci?
Thank you, Madam President. The transportation report is in the hands of each board member and has been made available to the public. I move for its adoption.
Second.
Any comments from the board? Comments from the public? Seeing none?
Ms. Gentile? Aye. Mr. Desnoyers?
Aye.
Ms. Jordan?
Aye.
Dr. Rucci? Aye. Dr. Taylor?
Aye.
Ms. Curry?
Aye.
Mr. Brown? Aye. Ms. Mitchell?
Aye, motion carries. The next up is the facilities report and the use of facilities report. Mrs. Jordan, and the donation report.
Thank you, Madam President. The facilities report, the use of facilities report, and the donation report are in the hands of each board member and have been made available to the public. I move for their adoption this evening.
Any comments from the board?
Yes, I just want to make a comment and a thank you to Bonnie's Wonder, I always say Bonnie's Flowers, but it's Bonnie's Wonder Garden for the donations of the flowers to Mr. Upper Darby, and just a local plug too for a local business. It's a wonderful florist, and they're located right on Scottdale Road. So if anybody's looking for flowers, I would suggest you stop in there.
They were beautiful. I saw them at the event. Are there any other comments from board members? Okay, any comments from the public? Seeing none? Is there a problem, Mr. Grant? Poll vote, please.
Ms. Gentile? Aye. Mr. Desnoyers?
Aye.
Ms. Jordan?
Aye.
Dr. Rucci? Aye. Dr. Taylor? Aye. Ms. Curry?
Aye.
Mr. Brown? Aye. Ms. Mitchell?
Aye, motion carries. The next up is the finance and budget report. Mr. Brown.
The finance and budget report is in the hands of each board member and has been made available to the public. I move for its adoption.
Second.
Sarah, it's okay.
Are there any comments from the board? If there isn't, I have a comment. I have given a lot of careful consideration to the resolution that's in the report tonight for the DCC capital project resolution for Prendy. Unfortunately, I won't be able to support that resolution tonight. There's a lot of unknowns. I'm also concerned because I know the district desperately needs space, and I know that there are a lot of there is opposition from the Clifton Heights property, and if the district were to be able to get the Prendy property, that would solve a lot of our problems. I totally support the community college and what they're trying to do for our students. But as a board member tonight, I will not be able to support the capital project resolution for the Prendy building. Are there any other comments from board members? Any comments from the public? Seeing none, poll vote, please.
Ms. Gentile? Aye. Mr. Desnoyers?
With the exception of the DCC capital project resolution, I approve the report.
Ms. Jordan?
Aye.
Dr. Rucci? Aye. Dr. Taylor?
The exception of the DCC capital project.
Ms. Curry?
With the exception of the DCC capital project resolution for Prendy, I approve the rest of
Mr. Brown?
I approve all with the exception of the DCC capital resolution.
I approve all with the exception of the DCC capital project resolution for Prendy.
As such, the Finance and Budget Report is passed in its entirety with the exception of the resolution for the Delaware County Capital Project Funding Resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Grant. Next up, we have the collateral assignment reports. The first is Mrs. Jordan for the Delaware County Community College. Report. The IU Board, Dr. Taylor.
So just a couple of announcements. DCIU Early Head Start and Head Start instant applications for next fall begins on May 17th, depending on the location that you're looking for. Program openings are available to eligible Delaware County families. Head Start is for children age 3 by next September 30th to age 5, and Early Head Start ages 6 weeks to 3 years old. We also have a few summer camps coming up. So first, we have the literacy camp. The goal of the literacy camp is to sharpen reading and writing skills while renewing students' appreciation of reading. The materials and focus each week of the camp will revolve around a theme, and the camp is being hosted at the Marple Education Center in Bromont. The camp begins Monday, July 8th, and concludes on Thursday, August 8th. Sessions run from 9 a.m. to noon. And then each summer, Delaware County Technical Schools runs the Career Heroes Summer Camp. Registration is open right now, and the camp cost is $50 per student for the entire week. Camp runs the week of June 24th through the 28th this summer. And the camp topics for this summer are cosmetology, culinary arts, Apple computer, health careers, forensics, and carpentry camps, and those are all separate camps. Campers must be residents of Delaware County, and the camp is for ages 11 to 14. And registration closes on May 31st for those camps. Please visit dciu.org for any more information.
Mr. Fields and I both attended the Legislative Council meeting, which was held last week, and I will go over a few things that are of importance. I do want to remind board members that on Friday morning, we're having our legislative breakfast, and I believe all of our legislators will be in attendance, so I hope to see you all there. It's at 7:30 at the IU, and I think it will be a nice time to discuss the current concerns that we have. I do want to remind everyone that the board is having a school funding briefing. There are flyers out on the table on May the 23rd. I know it's been going out in the Wednesday folder, so I appreciate that the principals have been doing that. It's at Drexel Hill Middle School from 6:30 to 8 p.m. What was of most importance this month is some charter bills that are running through fast track in the Senate and House Education Committees. They are House Bill 356, House Bill 357, House Bill 355, and House Bill 358. House Bill 356 is a charter school expansion without oversight, and the PSBA and school boards are opposing this because it allows charter schools the first right of refusal to purchase or lease school buildings no longer in use by a school district, which is concerning because it will obviously expand charters quite quickly without much oversight. The next is House Bill 357 for charter applications, amendments, and expansion without oversight. Again, they would like to give them basically a blank check to operate, and so we are recommending opposition of that. The other two that are part of the package are House Bill 355, ethics requirements for charter schools, and obviously we're supporting that because it would make all charter schools have to disclose that their advertising is paid for by taxpayer dollars. So if you reach out to your legislator, you might want to say that please support at least that one. And the next one is House Bill 358, which is dual enrollment. And I don't know, Dr. McGarry, if the superintendents have discussed this. I know that the Montgomery County superintendents are opposed to this. PSBA is saying that they support House Bill 358, which allows charter schools to enter into agreements with post-secondary institutions to allow charter school students to attend and earn credits at post-secondary institutions. Now, I know that some of the comments from the Montgomery County superintendents, I was on a conference call the other day, was that the concern would be that they would be encouraging students to enroll in charter schools who simply would just take all of their credits at the community college and would actually not attend the cyber programs or even the charter schools, but they would be getting the per diem rate for the schools. So that's really up to you, but it would be really great if you would call your legislators. They will be moving this to the floor tomorrow for a vote. So if you're able to send something or call their offices, I think they would greatly appreciate hearing from the public on those four bills. As far as that, I mean, honestly, they're not really taking up any additional things that are of importance. I know that Senator Leach has a school residency requirement bill, but it probably, they're saying, won't make it to the floor. There's a few other things that are concerning, which is SB 115, which is CPR instruction for all high school students and how that would be implemented. It's interesting how they write these bills. This one happens to be on third consideration, and they have to enact it within 60 days. So they don't give the districts a whole lot of time to make this happen. So those are the key things. It's really the charter school bills that we're mostly concerned about. Obviously, advocacy towards the budget would be great since we are still $16 million underfunded. And as we all saw with our proposed budget, that we would be operating in a deficit even at almost taxing to the AC1 index. Next up, Mrs. Oh, sure.
Just want to be clear about what, your recommendations based on PSBA. It was opposed for 356, opposed for 357, approved for 355 and 358. Which one was that?
Well, the PSBA is supporting it, but like I said, I know the Montgomery County superintendents had an issue. I don't know.
I'm a part of a group with Montgomery County of urban superintendents. Chris Dormer, Stephen Rodriguez, we communicate pretty frequently. I know in particular in Pottstown, Stephen Rodriguez is dealing with the fact that they may have to cut their entire arts program and music program in the school district. But what I can tell you is that the reason why that's complicated is technically from a PIMS, Pennsylvania Information Management perspective, as far as what they're bringing up as the daily average enrollment. There are public school districts. I think the reason why PSBA, I don't know, I haven't talked to PSBA, but my thought would be because charter schools are considered public schools, and public schools allow dual enrollment that way, I don't know how they could argue against allowing an already approved public school to participate in a similar dual enrollment program. I think the other House bills are concerning. I do agree with the other superintendents about the oversight. We would have a strict oversight as far as of attendance and what's going on in a dual enrollment program, but I think it comes down to the PIMS requirements and the child accounting as far as how you account for a student in and out of those programs. And I think if public schools are currently doing something like that, I don't know how they can get away with preventing a public school, charter school from doing it.
Right, I think that is why PSBA is supporting it. I'm just stating that that's the concern
was explaining it.
as far as funding goes. Next up, Mrs. Gentile for the Mendenhall Tyson Scholarship.
Yes, we had a meeting last week, and we have 4 winners of the scholarship. And these winners will be announced during scholarship night, and they will share over $100,000 in scholarship money from the Mendelssohn Tyson Scholarship. Yes.
Mrs. Gentile, I'm looking forward to hearing who they are on May 29th and then on June 1st. Yes. The next up is District Home and School, Mrs. Jordan.
I was not able to attend the last meeting. Madam President, I know you were there and Dr. McGarry, so.
Yes, it was a well-attended night, a lot of public interest, a lot of concerns. I think some of the concerns that came out from the home and school representation is the communication around the facilities planning, in particular communication and their ability to participate. It's disheartening, I think, in a public forum such as committee meetings or public meetings such as tonight, that home and school members have expressed their concern that while they're in support and in favor of the work that's going on, that they're afraid. They're afraid to come out to meetings and express their support for giving their name and their address. And that was disheartening to hear that information. That's not the first time, it's the second time at the home and school president's meetings where we've heard parents actually in tears. I know, Mr. Kaplan, you've been at some of the meetings as well, express overall fear that if they come out in support of something, what could happen. Folks want to get involved. They want to be supportive. As far as that's concerned, there's a lot of communication and clarity brought from that meeting. And what else came out of the home and school meeting was, you know, Dr. McGarry, we like that these agendas are yours, but we'd like to have some time to meet and discuss with ourselves. So moving forward, we'll probably set the meetings up and we'll have some information from the district and allow the home and schools to get together and collaborate. And they asked to meet over the summer. They asked to continue to meet and share ideas and conversations and overall just how to continue to be engaged. I shared with the fact that we attempted to go do the required infiltration testing and that we received a letter from Clifton Heights Borough saying that if you do the infiltration testing, we'll cite you for trespassing or bring up criminal trespassing for going on the property. Communicating with them what we're up against, trying to meet the requirements, try to do our due diligence to this work. And I think it was astounding that what's being put out there is not really always the facts. And I think it was important that we continue to go out and share that information at those meetings.
I just want to say I did have the opportunity to attend in the beginning of the year to welcome the presidents, and then this I thought was the final meeting, but I guess not. And it's really nice to see the collaborative effort that all of the presidents of the different home and schools have by the end of the year. So I thought that was great, and really the sharing of ideas, they really desperately want to do that. So I'm sure you'll make that happen. The next up is technology, Mr. Brown or Dr. Rucci.
Yeah, just one quick comment. Wanted to thank Superintendent Dr. McGarry and Director of Technology, Mr. Helinski, on implementing the improvements, the recommendations that Dr. Rucci and I made to the website, I don't know, a little over a month ago, and a lot of those things have been incorporated on the website, and I definitely see an improvement, so thank you for doing that on behalf of me and Dr. Rucci, if I can speak for him.
I just want to say, I was at the meeting and I listened, but Bob deserves all the credit. He's the one coordinating the efforts, and we'll be moving forward with some even more changes up for next year that came out of that recommendation. Correct, Bob? Thanks.
That's great. Anything from the PSBA representative, Mr. Brown or Mr. Desnoyers? You do? No, he said no.
Okay. I mean, this is where you want us to do our summaries for the...
No, not yet.
Okay.
And we heard from the policy and communication, Dr. Taylor and Mrs. Jordan, anything on that front? Okay. Now, the summary from the NSBA conference. Would you like to go first, Mr. Brown?
I'll go last. Ladies first.
I attended the NSBA conference in Philadelphia on March 30th and 31st. I attended 6 sessions. The opening general session, which was given by speaker, Sir Ken Robinson, who is an internationally recognized expert in creativity and innovation. Sir Robinson gave an engaging talk covering his observations on the state of education. The second session I attended was Keeping It Real, How to Ensure That Board Policies Are Relevant, Effective, Actionable, and Legal. There were a number of speakers from a suburban Atlanta, Georgia school district talking about how they implemented a system whereby every school district policy was reviewed on a rotating basis every 4 years. I thought that was, I was interested in that because of my relatively recent role as a policy point person. Then I attended a session titled Leveraging Contextually Driven Artificial Intelligence for Safer Schools. The speaker was Dr. Desmond Patton, and in this session, Dr. Patton detailed research he is doing that combines human and machine intelligence to create safer schools. The fourth session I attended was titled The Impacts of Mental Health Awareness in the Classroom. The speaker was Dr. Aguirre. This was a very helpful session about how mental health challenges in students can impact the classroom. Dr. Aguirre included a discussion of current research in adolescent mental health issues. The next session I attended was titled School Safety in the Age of School Shootings. The speaker was Sonia Trainer, who is an attorney for the NSBA. She discussed federal laws and regulations that address safe schools and provided resources for school districts grappling with these issues. The last session I attended was Challenges Around School Security, Policies, Procedures, and Personal Privacy. The speaker was Mo Kennedy from the National Association of School Resource Officers. This was a helpful session about creating policies that both keep schools safe and respect individual liberties. So in summary, this was the first NSBA conference I attended. I found the sessions I attended very useful, especially in my relatively new role as policy point person for the board and the safety issues facing the district. Thank you very much.
I've had the opportunity over the years to go to a few national conferences. Honestly, this was one of the best. I don't know if it was just partial because it was right down the road in Philadelphia, but did get to meet like a lot more local school directors, and I think that type of camaraderie is really important. I also thought, having our superintendent there added a lot to it because we were able really to, when we had lunch, just even talk about the sessions that we had attended and what kind of impact they had on us and sort of really hear like in real life how this plays out. So I just want to remind everyone that 9 out of 10, every 10 students are educated in our public schools. So the sessions I attended were on public and private partnerships and facility planning. Dr. McGarry and I attended this one together. I have given each board member a copy of the presentation. This was on 2 field complexes that a school district had done in Kansas City, where they had garnered pretty much 100% private funding for the facilities that they did for each one of their high schools. It was quite interesting, the support that the community had behind this. They also talked about when you're doing facilities planning, really that we should have 3 board members meeting with our administration weekly. I took that away as something that maybe we should be doing as we go forward. The next session that I attended, which is something that's really important to me, and is actually one of the reasons why I became a school director, was in 2008 when the reading specialists were cut in the district. That struck a nerve in me that made me want to make sure that we're always doing continuous improvement in reading achievement. So the next session was what does it take to improve reading achievement, even in schools with high poverty populations? And it was given by Timothy Shananahan from, he was the former director, I might have said his name wrong, of the Chicago Public Schools, where there are 47,000 students. And one of the things, and I'll say sorry to Dr. McGarry before I start talking about this, but he was on the National Literacy Panel, and where they've really been able to flesh out what improves student achievement. And really, the long and short of the whole thing is it's not just an increased amount of instruction. That is honestly the most powerful thing, but it's also good curriculum and really quality teaching. And what he really talked about, and really, it was nice, it was very personal. He really sat down and really talked to us as school directors, and that is really about time and how much time we're able to dedicate to reading instruction without interruption. And that really is the really number one thing that is going to improve reading achievement. So it really spoke to me about it. But he was saying that in other, in Chicago, they extended their school year by 60 days. And of course, they saw an increase in student achievement. But in other countries like China, Korea, and Japan, kids learn 9 weeks longer than in the United States. So anyway, he did not have a presentation to share, so I'm sorry, but if you look him up on the National Literacy Panel, I'm sure you can read all about his research. The next session that I went to was on preparing students for today's mobile workforce and how important it is to incorporate technology while not losing sight of the collaborative working environment that's necessary, and how Dr. Taylor and I actually went to that one together, that it's not just about creating apps, that people are looking for people that can do that, but they can also work together in teams to collaborate. So I thought that was it was a pretty interesting thing, and they had a lot of hands-on things, but they said that there's more than 7 million jobs that need these kind of trained workers out there. So encouraging school districts to really work on that as well as the regular books. The next session was on school board and superintendent roles, and I did attach the handout. I do think that's always an important session to go to when we're out at some of these national conferences, because I think sometimes the lines get a little blurred, and that's probably not such a great thing. So I hope everyone reads the attached handout. And then I did go to a session on school safety. The key takeaway was that there is really no one-size-fits-all solution. I know that we often talk about, well, Mr. Kaplan was up here saying, well, how do I know that's going to make us for a safer school? And this really hit home, so that I also attached the slides for the school board. And the last one was one of the most interesting sessions I went to. It was actually run by an FBI agent, and it was on the profile of a school shooter. It was very interesting. They didn't provide handouts, but basically they've looked at every school shooter, and they have created a profile of what a school shooter looks like. And really the core of it is just getting to make sure that we have the relationships with students and we're able to see those danger signs to prevent the next school massacre. So it was not a great way to end the conference, but it was a very interesting session, and I know that we're doing really good things with developing relationships with kids here. So, and that has, obviously caused some chaos lately with lockdowns and things like that, but I think those are really important things.
Just to comment, while that is unsettling, I would say that over 90% of the situations we're dealing with is kids feeling willing with a relationship to tell our staff what's going on. So we want to encourage our kids to keep that going.
Absolutely.
I'll jump in. So I've attended a few of the national conferences, and I do agree this was one of the better ones. And I tried to police myself and not just attend the technology or engineering related sessions. That's what I do for a living, so I wanted to try to get some diversity and go to different ones. I had a unique experience the first session I went to. It was called Preparing Students Today for Careers of Tomorrow, and the subtitle was Pathways to Success. So I said that ties in nicely with our change in graduation requirements and the adjustment to what we've done, and the speaker didn't show. So, we sat there for a while, but the nice thing was they gave us a nice app for you to, really schedule your sessions, and the slides were available. So I thought the slides were great. I was curious to know what he was going to say about them, but from what I understand, he had a transportation emergency. The slides tied in nicely to, what we're doing. So we're doing some good things. I did go to a technology-related one. It was called the Ultimate Tech Hackathon, and it had keyboard hacks, YouTube hacks, hacks for dealing with pictures, PowerPoint hacks, VPNs and passwords, and I was like, wow, this one is good for anybody that uses any of those tools. So I do have a copy of the presentation. I'll be happy to share that if you use any of those items, if you use YouTube, if you use, want to know how to deal with pictures and how to improve your PowerPoint skills, I would certainly be happy to share the presentation that Mr. Jim Spellos presented. It was really cool, and he had a standing room only session. Some of these sessions were not well attended or some were packed, but his was packed standing room only every time he presented it, so I'll be happy to share that. The next one I attended was the digital equity. We always talk about equity, and we have our equity chief, Dr. Council, but this was digital equity. So this was equity from a technology standpoint, understanding how public policy is designed to enable equity access to technology across the United States. And Dr. Nicole Turner Lee of the Brookings Institute gave some nice examples on how to navigate that gap between the intersection of race, wealth, and technology within the context of civic engagement, criminal justice, and economic development. So I thought that was unique. You don't hear a lot about digital equity, but it is a barrier, and that's something that needs to be addressed. So I do have her slides that I would like to share with you. Okay. The next one I attended was a trauma-informed perspective on educational environments. That was very useful from Chris Dykos from MIT. And he talked about the Tier 1 environment elements that are used as evidence-based practice, which are often impeded by common educational environments. He discussed the adverse childhood experience studies and the trauma-informed practices. He talked about the trauma-informed practices, the multi-tiered systems of support. There's a specific framework that's used as a foundation when discussing classroom and school environment design. So he had a very involved one that fits in nicely with our trauma-informed care and our initiatives to move that forward. So I do have those slides as well. And the one that I was most excited about was the last one I attended, and it had, I guess the coolest name out of all the sessions that I'm sure anyone attended. It was called Watchdogs, and the dogs was an acronym, D.O.G.S., and the dogs stood for Dads of Great Students. So the focus of that was building family engagement through fathers and father figures volunteering a full school day. So I was so excited about that when I did send that information to Dr. McGarry and Dr. Marshallak and everyone. So that is something that we hope to pioneer. I'd like to do a pilot at Highland Park and be a part of that because I'm excited about that. I've been a volunteer for Highland Park long before I was on the school board, and I think that's important to have parental engagement and father figures being active in the schools. And I think it sends a message, and it certainly sends the right message to your children. So I would like to have more father engagement, and I think this is a nice proven program. We're not reinventing the wheel. It's a national model. It's been all over the news. It was featured on Dateline in 2020, and I sent the links for that. So if you Google it, Watchdogs, D-O-G-S, and put the peers after the dogs, Dads of Great Students. So it's a really unique program, and hopefully we can pioneer that and pilot it at Highland Park and then implement it throughout the district. Thank you.
So it was really difficult with all the choices that we had for all the sessions to go to on the many days. So I just want to first say thank you for the opportunity to be able to have some professional development as a school board member. I think that is key because doing this job is very important to our community, and we know as we serve the teachers and the staff here that professional development is key to making a great community. So I just want to start off by saying one of my most important values, because I really have a lot that I'm interested in, but for me this year has been points of engagement with the Upper Darby District community as a board member. And so I went to a session called Community Engagement, Building Relationships to Advancing Student Achievement. And so in that, it gave two really important points that sometimes I don't think we all understand when we talk about engagement. And the first one is the student engagement, which is the degree of attention, curiosity, interest, and optimism students show when they are learning and being taught, which extends to the level of motivation they have to learn or progress. And we saw that tonight in our work session with all the different schools and how important it is to make learning fun. And the second one is community engagement, which is the degree of attention, curiosity, interest, and optimism that community members show when they are informed and involved, which extends to the level of motivation that they have to support the work of the school district and the schools themselves. And so I thought that was key in looking at the importance of stakeholders who are, of course, our parents, staff, community members, municipal officers, officials, nonprofit organization, business leaders, and at the state level, our legislators. Also, while we were at the conference, I chose to focus on board governance. Because we have had such a challenging year with the things that we've had to make decisions about, I decided to stop in and really figure out what this role was all about outside of what I already know. And so I focused on several sessions that were board and superintendent collaboration, superintendent district leadership, the importance of board training and professional development to identify the roles and responsibilities of affected board members, and the importance of strengthening the work being done in the school district and within the community. Another one was tackling equity challenges and solutions via disrupting poverty and through hiring practices, increasing student achievement, and security. I also attended the one that Dr. McGarry and school board member Neil Desnoyers about the challenges around school safety. And lastly, I was really excited about, I had gone when I was in Hershey last October to, one of my first sessions was Resilience Can Be Taught. And it was a program written by Christian Moore, who was a student who really had some trauma in his life and like many students experience which impede their learning. And so I happened to just go in and sit in there, and he was actually the speaker. And Dr. Puglisi knows because I know they've been in touch with the district, and it's called Why Try Organization. And it was really exciting actually hearing from him and his experiences as a young boy on the streets of, I think, Washington, D.C. And I have his book, and it was really incredible about how he turned his life around and how our students, even in the face of their trauma, can understand how resilience can be taught and how students and educational professionals continue to understand the impact of trauma. And lastly, I just want to say, working and networking collaboratively with educational professionals, including the superintendents that were there, administrators, state administrators, people who were working at the state level, like with the PSBA and throughout the different states, and school board members across the country was extremely valuable opportunity, and I'm thankful for being able to learn and grow at the from the national level information. I look forward to working with administration and the board here at the Upper Darby School District on continuing to provide the best possible quality programs and services for our district and in our community.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Rucci?
Thank you, Madam President. I think in all my years of attending these school board conferences, I think this has to be one of the most unique ones because this was in Philadelphia, but it was also the same day as the Philadelphia Marathon. So I think one of the most unique board exercises that we've ever had to do was cross the Philadelphia Marathon across Market Street and lobby in between to get into the the convention center. So it was. I thought I was going to get flattened, and I'm a pretty big guy, but these guys were moving. So what I want to do is I just want to just point out a couple of the sessions that I went to that I thought were really, there were a lot of choices, and even with the marathon, there were still some scheduling things that people couldn't get into, so you had to have a second choice to go. But I'll just point out a couple of them. The first one I want to point out was called Going Viral, and it was using live video to boost your organization's visibility. And this was actually put on by the Kansas Association of School Boards. And what they wanted to do was create a video stream that they could put out to all of their members on a regular basis when important legislation came up or important things affecting the districts. So they looked at things like Facebook Live and Venmo and other things. And they talked about how they put this project together. And it actually evolved into where they brought in other school districts and they created a studio at the School Board Association where they did like almost like a Friday afternoon broadcast where they pre-taped it and they went through and talked about this bill is coming up, this is something we need to pay attention, this could be the impact. So I think it was really interesting. We're doing some of those things, but one of the things that I really enjoy about going to these conferences is to see not only what other people are doing, but a lot of times it validates what we're doing. Like we're already doing some of those things, but you get some great ideas out of that. So I thought that was really interesting. I did attend the same session that Mr. Brown attended on the hackathon, so I haven't been able to find the PowerPoint, so I'm definitely going to, because there were a couple of things in there. And I also did attend the Preparing the Mobile Workforce. I think they ran 2 sessions. That was actually put on by Apple. So in addition to what my colleague said, I think one of the most important things that I got out of that session, and being in the technology field like Mr. Brown, I always have a special interest, but it talked about how we educating our kids today for the workforce that's coming in the next couple of years. Our kids are growing up with technology, and they always have the expectation that they're always going to be connected, that I don't think anybody knows what a modem sound is anymore, but back in those days. So they're using mobile devices, and not only are we have to factor in that we're teaching our kids the technology skills, like how to use this technology, but one of the things that they pointed out is, and I thought this was interesting, is that we're going to have a gap with some of our kids with being able to enter the workforce with some communication skills and being able to carry on conversations and do some of these interpersonal things that we need to do because they're so screen absorbed in how they're looking at things that when they go and apply for a job out of college, that we need to tailor how we kind of start our kids out as they get, because the technology is easy, they're going to just pick that up. But how do we kind of focus and refocus the way we teach our kids so that they can be successful in the workplace? So I thought that was a really interesting presentation, especially, it was put on by Apple and they were talking about, the iPads and how all these wonderful devices keep everybody connected. But I think, at some point the message was that maybe they're too connected and we're not actually pulling them up. So I thought that was probably one of the most attended sessions because they ran it a couple of times and it was packed. The last one I want to highlight, and I thought this was really kind of cool, was called Playing Your Way to College, the link between video games and college scholarships. So I'm like, what is this going to be about? So actually what this is about and I didn't know this, but there are a whole competitions in high schools called the esports, and kids play Fortnite and League of Legends. I didn't know you could actually make something out of that. But what this is doing was put on by CDW, and CDW talked about how they go around to schools and help the schools put together these teams, and they actually compete in national tournaments, and they can actually get, and I didn't realize this, there's over $9 million a year in scholarships that are awarded to these, League of, I'm embarrassed I can't say the name, whatever. But it was really interesting to be able to see, not only because it teaches them, competition just like a regular team sport, but there are so many opportunities to travel and to go to other things. So I'd actually mentioned this to Mrs. Simone, and I still want to get that information over to you. He hasn't gotten back to me yet, but something to explore. I mean, especially, when we want to find every opportunity where we can give our kids additional, assistance going to college and other things as well. So, thank you. That's my update.
Thank you. Are there any other collateral assignments from board members?
No, but I just want to make clear, the reason you're not getting a report from me or from Ms. Gentile is we did not attend the conference in Philadelphia. So the people that you heard reporting, part of our policy is that reports are given. So personally, I felt there were enough board members going that, we could save the money and I could get the information from the other board members this time around. So we tried to share it.
You've gone other years, right?
Just once.
Yeah. Old business from board members. I did want to ask Mr. Berman if you could please go over the results of the title search on the Clifton Field property.
Sure. Okay, so there was an outside party that raised certain questions about the district's title over the field and also the proposed use that the district was going to put the field to, and whether that was in any way restricted. So in response to that, we did have a title search performed, and we conducted other research as well. And what we discovered from the title search and the other research that we gathered was, and I'm happy to report, that the title company gives a clean bill for the field. So the district does have title to the entire Clifton field. And the district also has the right to use the field for the district's intended purpose, which includes building the school and upgrading the fields for school and community use.
Berman, I appreciate that update.
You're welcome.
The other old business I know that we have is the school calendar. Dr. McGarry?
Yes, I know. I guess it was maybe in February. Ms. Curry had asked for a review of the report card and the calendar, and the board brought that up as well. We brought it to the Home and School President's meeting, and one of the recommendations from the Home and School Presidents would be, and from the teachers, that it might be more palatable instead of pushing back the school year a week and maybe taking away spring break and going later into June, would be if we prepare our families to have half days the first week of school, so that parents can be prepared that they're not getting a call out for a warm weather day, that the first week of school would be half days built on the calendar. So instead of making that motion tonight, we'll put the calendar out with the proposed half days and bring that to a vote in June and make those changes to the calendar at that time. We'll continue to revise the calendar and look at it moving forward. But I think in the conversation it was pretty clear that moving it back a week or even 2 weeks, it's warm in September and in June. We decided that the half days, I believe it was a Aronimink parent, Ms. Smith from Aronimink, who mentioned that might be more palatable to do something like that. So we'll bring that forward to the public. We'll put it out. We'll put it out in a parent link, explain that, and then we'll also put it to a vote in June. That's where we are with the calendar.
Thank you. Is there any other old business from board members?
So on May 5th, the athletic trainer here at Upper Darby High School, Brian Smart, unexpectedly and tragically passed away. He had recently come to us at the start of the school year, and all of the athletes, students, faculty, staff, everybody fell in love with him instantly. And so it really hit our school community, and I've never seen so many students gather together in a way that touched me so deeply. So I'd just like to ask for a moment of silence for Brian.
Or we did have one at our last board meeting, but I'm happy to do that again tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam President, if I can just add on to that, we received an email that Dr. Manfrey did pass on to the board that was sent to Ms. Simone, and it was regarding the funeral and Mr. Smart. And one of the employees, a retiree, sent us an email, and he started with, he just wanted to congratulate our students and the administration for the behavior at Brian Smart's viewing at St. John Bosco's Church on Friday, May 10th. He said, many of us that work part-time in the funeral business always dread when large groups of young people are expected to attend. Typically, they have their heads in their smartphones and wander about. In fact, we typically refer to this as trying to herd cats. We were pleasantly surprised by your students. They were neatly dressed in either their athletic uniforms or street clothes. We saw no one on their phone or acting unruly. We were, in a word, amazed. Last night, the night of the viewing, the weather was somewhat unpredictable. At one time, it began to rain. I quickly assessed the situation and determined how to get as many people inside and out of the rain. As we called out instructions to the crowd, your students complied and did as we instructed, and we were, once again, amazed. In closing, I want to say that this behavior comes from good administration. You are to be commended. So, thank you to the administration and to our students.
Thank you, Mrs. Jordan, and to the staff that arranged for the buses to go to the funeral. I know that even the next day, there were students that attended who had other commitments on Friday night, and they were greeted with so much dignity and respect from the family, even during their difficult time. I know that the students were touched by that.
I think I want to thank Mr. Noonan. He reached out, the relationship with the father and getting the buses together. Frank deserves a lot of credit for that, and the transportation part. So Frank.
Is there any other old business from board members? New business from board members or from the administration? Dr. McGarry, I think. Oh, Pat, you're going to go over the new business?
Ms. Mitchell, yes, I would like to, thank you. This evening, the administration would like to request from the board approval to run a pilot program of providing breakfast and lunch service for our kindergarten children at the Hillcrest, Westbrook Park, and Primus Elementary Schools. This will allow us to assess the best means of delivery while trying to not take up as much instructional time. It also allows us to assess how delivery can be made with the children and what would be the best protocols. At this time, we're unable to provide this pilot program at the kindergarten because at this moment we're not properly staffed, nor do we have the equipment to be able to run the pilot program at the kindergarten center. The intention of all this, and from the data that we will collect from this, would be to be able to provide kindergarten students a lunch and breakfast in this 2019 and 2020 school year.
The pilot would run this month.
Pilot would begin on May 28th and run through the end of the school year. Part of the reason due to timing and our next committee, we would have brought this to a committee meeting, but May 28th is our next committee meeting. So we're asking this evening if the board would approve for us to be able to operate such a program.
For clarity purposes, it would be breakfast for the AM students and lunch for the PM students?
Correct, Ms. Mitchell.
Okay, so do we need a motion for that?
So moved.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Do we do a roll call? I'm not sure.
Yes.
Yes, a roll call? Should I take comments also from the board and the public? Okay, so I'm sorry, let's go back. We had a motion and a second. Are there any comments from the board? Comments from the public? Seeing none, roll call, please, Mr. Grant.
Ms. Gentile? Aye. Mr. Desnoyers?
Aye.
Ms. Jordan?
Aye.
Dr. Rucci?
Aye.
Dr. Taylor?
Aye.
Ms. Curry?
Aye.
Mr. Brown? Ms. Mitchell?
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
We're now at the time of our meeting for public comment.
I have new business.
Oh, excuse me?
I have new business.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Okay, so considering the number of upcoming capital improvement projects, from the new schools to the improvements within our existing buildings over the next several years, I would like to request the administration to look into the possibility of implementing a district responsible contractor resolution or a policy of some sorts. Responsible contractor ordinances help to ensure high-level contractors are working on our projects and that contractors are hired for public projects meet certain standards of quality.
Dr. Taylor, you said that you either wanted a resolution or a policy. Can you explain a little bit more?
Yes, looking into what other school districts have done, they've done either or, so I just kind of wanted the administration to look in to see which one might be best for us if we were going to pursue this.
Well, since you researched several other districts, can I suggest a policy? That way we can look at the best practices and, maybe pick from the ones that we see have value.
Sure. We can do that search through our board docs as well, so we can provide that information to the board. We could probably find resolutions as well to help you with that. Okay.
I do think that would be important to make sure that we're getting quality contractors, because we do bid out the projects and we're required to go by the lowest responsible bidder, right? So would the responsible contractor set some sort of parameters? Help me to understand a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so we could set it up to say specific requirements or adhere to certain training practices, things of that nature, to make sure that they are at the highest quality possible.
And I think you also mentioned before inclusion of minority contractors and women-owned businesses and things of that nature to be compliant in contracts that they're bidding on to be inclusive.
Yes, I've seen some that include like a certain percentage of the contract include a percent of minorities, or certain percentage of the people working on the contract be from a certain radius, like 10 miles within the school district to try and keep the jobs local. Things of that nature I've seen in some of them. Yes, Lee.
So I just want to make sure that we have board support for the administration to look at that.
So we currently don't have any policy or anything in place in ARs or?
Right now, we follow a bid process, and we go through an RFP process for much of the work, but there's co-stars, there's PEPM, there's state qualifications that are already underway. But I believe some of this that we were talking about is experiences that other school districts have had, even with contractors that have met those requirements that have fallen short in meeting with certain school districts whose names I will not put out there, that they have found that certain contractors or companies that have been brought in, even though they qualify under state co-stars or PEPM, whatever the qualifying bids or requirements that we already meet, are not really meeting the requirements. And I think that review is important, and I don't think it's outrageous for us to do that. It wouldn't be overburdensome to add the process that we already have, so we can certainly look into a process for that.
Is everybody comfortable with that? Okay, so I guess you'll be able to bring that back to us at a future meeting.
Yes, Mr. Desnoyers will be able to.
Well, if it's a resolution, then it wouldn't be Mr. Desnoyers. All right. Okay. Now we're at the time, unless there's any other new business from board members, I'm sorry. Okay, now we're at the time of our public hearing. We'll call upon Upper Darby residents and taxpayers who have signed in to address the board in the order in which they signed in. We ask that you come forward, give your name and address for the record, and present your comments in a 3-minute timeline. And we only have one speaker tonight, and that's Miss Suzanne Brittis.
Suzanne Brittis, 319 Austin Drive. On May 4th, there was a community cleanup organized by Nick Hoyt, and he could not be here tonight because his daughter had softball, but he had written up a little thank you he would like me to read to everybody. He wrote, on Saturday, May 4th, scores of volunteers met up throughout the township at 9 a.m. in an attempt to make our community a little cleaner. Thank you to each of the principals that allowed us to use their dumpsters to dispose of the trash. Thank you to the home and schools of Upper Darby High School and Drexel Hill Middle School for going one step further in their beautification projects. Special thanks to Principal Buford and Principal Rogers for leading the charges at Stonehurst Hills and Primos Elementary, respectively. I look forward to coordinating this again at the end of the summer for back to school, and hope you can join us next time. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Brittis. I had so much fun with Miss Jordan and planting flowers. I don't know, some of the pictures might have not been too, we're a little sweaty. So thank you. With that being said, the motion is in order for adjournment. All in favor? Aye. Good night, everyone.